It's a fine foggy night tonight, and I doubt if anyone has ever told you of the marvelous fogs we have in Aberdeen.
Eugene.
Bakersfield.
Los Angeles.
San Francisco.
He wasn't giving me my props in Oaktown.
Portland.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, California.
San Francisco.
San Francisco?
You gotta find your Irvine.
Irvine?
And Hanford.
Eugene.
Seattle.
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 Sacramento.
Fresno.
We're going to Vancouver.
Modesto, California.
San Diego.
Chino. Chino.
You know, there might be an opening for a manager in Visalia next spring.
Yakima, right?
Vallejo, California, the V.
Do it again. Line up. 3, 2, 1, and welcome to the West Coast Sojourn podcast. I'm Donnell Alexander, and you are my co-host.
Lev Anderson. That's my name.
Anderson is the name. We've got a more guests than usual. We may have more. We may have tripled the guests than usual by the time this thing's over. But it's kind of a reunion because we're going to talk about my book. What's the name of my book, Lev?
Your book is Ghetto Celebrity. Go get you one.
It's available. Thank you very much.
I said Ghetto Celebrity. I always say Ghetto Superstar, but there you go. There's the OG copy.
The OG showing off. We're showing off early in the mix. And I have two of my favorite people, compadres from LA, and I think in the Bay. We've done things in both of those towns, the little towns. Is my good friend Laini Coffee, who goes way back in the day.
Too far back.
Hi, LaLa.
Too far back.
Okay, so and inadvertently I'm going to call her LaLa at some point, but that's clearly it's fine. And geez, how do I describe Perry Crow? Oh man.
Beyond words.
We've had too many amazing experiences to count here. One of my favorite experiences. Hey, Perry, before I get into the experiences, I better say why you're here. What you have a product that's out in the world you need to talk about.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do a quick plug. I'm a comic book writer. I have a Kickstarter going for a new comic book called Crumbs of Fortune. And I'm sure I'll get the link into the show notes, but it's fun.
Okay.
All right.
So,
We're good.
Perry, how do you sound?
Let me know. Is it garbled? Is it garbage? Is it not too great? No, you sound all right. You sound all right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
So we'll pick it up after.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. 3, 2. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm great. Is the video being recorded as well? Can I smoke?
Oh yes. I mean, you know this video. Okay. But you can smoke. You can smoke.
I'm always myself, Donnell. You know that.
I love it. Please smoke. Please smoke. Well, I was just watching. What was the movie? I was watching some movie. Oh, it was a German film. And the scientists were in the lab smoking. No, it was X. X the man. We have to talk about X the man with X-ray vision later. You'll know what I'm talking about, LaLa. Okay. So after LaLa. And Perry Crow. Perry Crow is an editor at Chronicle Books. He's also an artist of the graphic novel sort. What's the name of your new project?
It's called Crumbs of Fortune. It's a long-form comic strip. Basically, I'm the writer. Nicole Morningstar, who might be joining later, is the artist, and we'll love to talk more. And I think, we're here to talk about Ghetto Celebrity, and you have a cool graphic novel interlude in the book that I'd love to get into with you. Know why you chose that approach, and it's a fun, unconventional memoir, and excited to talk about the new release of the paperback. So, Danelle, let's start off talking about your book. I want to we'll wait maybe for Nicole to get on before we get into Perry's project. If she can make it back on, but you've republished Ghetto Celebrity. It originally came out in 2002 or 2003. When
2003. Yeah.
And what was sort of the impetus behind republishing it? I mean, other than obviously we like to get our stories, our work out in public, but what else was going on to kind of bring this about?
Well, I couldn't let it die. It's a 23-year-old book at this point, but there's always been, especially with the advent of there's people who have really talked to me about how impactful it's been to them or how much they enjoyed it. I don't even like to look at the book. For the past 10 years, I was like, I don't really want to deal with it because we talked to a little in pre-show prep, I was kind of afraid of the book, because it's very personal and, life, but life goes on. So I kept hearing about it. And my friend Bill Smith, he was the art director at LA Weekly back in the day. He had been pushing me for years to get it back into print, and it just seemed like such a hard thing to do. And the fact is that I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't picture myself undertaking such a task. But he explained that there's this new thing of on-demand books. And, instead of having to go in for 1,000 or 500, even 200 copies, you just do them one at a time as the orders came in. So it seems scalable. Now, I wouldn't have thought that. There are a couple other factors. Afro Man comes into the equation. Have we talked about Afro Man?
Well, yeah, we talked about his law case, his lawsuit, I believe,
Okay.
against the police department. Was that well? Anyways, how does Afro Man figure into this?
Okay, wait. I want to make sure people are LaLa. I saw the look on your face. Do you know who Afro Man is?
I'm Googling right now.
Wait, Perry, do you know?
I don't know.
Oh my
Tell us.
God. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, Afro Man was he's a musician and
Okay, I know
rapper.
who Afro Man is now.
Yeah. He had one really big hit song, kind of, but he was a rapper and he had a very public lawsuit against the what police department was it? Was it the
It was Southern Ohio, man. It was I think the sheriff's actually right down on the Kentucky border, one of those
With the
counties.
sheriff.
Yeah,
Was it?
they basically raided his house, and I don't know if it was that they had the wrong address or if they thought because he might rap about drugs that he had drugs or something. And they, raided and like tore up his house, and then he came out and he started writing diss songs about all the sheriffs by name and showing videos of them that were captured by his home security cameras when they illegally raided his home. And then they sued him for like defamation and stuff. And he won his case. So Afroman is a champion of free speech. So how does he figure into this, Danelle?
Yeah, I just want to make clear that he acquitted himself. He won his case very publicly, humiliatingly for the fuzz, and it's really fun to watch. If you haven't looked it up, look up some of the videos. Pound Cake in particular, the Pound Cake video will make you laugh out loud. So back in the fall, I was super broke. Lev, I was around you last fall. I was super broke. I'm usually pretty broke.
I've never known you any other way, Danelle.
No, this was.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. I'm also in live that lifestyle, but yeah.
Yeah. And we all thought bohemianism was of the past, but you have brought it into the 21st century.
The thing is, ghetto celebrity caused this. It really ruined my life, as I say, in the most beautiful way imaginable. It ruined my life in the most beautiful way. And I remember just when I first had to be really broke, but that's not the point. The point is Afro Man. We don't want to get far away from Afro Man. Last fall, I was especially poor. And I had to pull something out of my ass, because I was starting to build my Substack. My Substack had gotten this like Hot 100 designation, and I felt like, oh shit, we're getting ready to do something. Then the DEI stuff started, and I swear to God, I started losing followers for the first time. Not a ton of them, but enough where I felt like my prospects were just screwed. Things didn't turn around as much as they have turned around, if they turned around after November. That's when things started to change a little bit. But I felt really hopeless. I said, I've got no cards to play. I am toxic. I'm radioactive, And I thought about the only people who were fucking with me is High Times. And High Times took this story. The editor is a fan of my writing, thank God, about the first time I got high. And it did really well on social media and all that. And so I said, I'd like to try to make this into a thing where I could, write further about it. Maybe we can redo my book. I brought it up to him, but it was Afro Man's publicist who really made this thing happen in the way that it's been happening, because he has this product called. She represents this product. She doesn't own the product, but she's involved with it. Called Canatella. Have you seen the Canatella stuff? Anyone? Do you know Nutella? You know Nutella. Everyone. Everyone's so
There's
quiet now.
Canatella?
Yeah, it's cannabis Nutella. They get it imported from Italy and they infuse it in New York State. It's only available in New York, but she sent me a bunch out here.
If you don't send me some, I'm not your friend no more. I am not your friend. I'm not your friend. If you don't send me some, I'm texting you my address right now. Don't play with me. Don't play. Don't play with me.
Anyway, she threw in with me, tried the stuff, and I said, let's try to do something in LA with this brand. And we did this big party with the chef, Wendy Zhang. And Lev came down to LA for that party. And she kept the whole motivator happening. And in fact, she's working right now to do some things. And her name's Lulu Cohen, working out of Queens. Oh my God, yeah. I think I'm sorry, love audience. LaLa just texted me her address. She's
Oh, she's on it. Yeah. You better get to stepping, Danelle.
We had this big party in LA. LaLa, you would have loved it. I'm sorry I didn't get you
I
down
would
there.
have.
Well, the chef, Wendy Zhang, is a brilliant chef, but she also has this amazing garden space where we did the party. And, I'm writing this film. We haven't even talked about my movie, but I'm writing this film that takes place on the east coast of New Spain, Mexico. It's, what it is. It's Gaspar Yanga. I'm doing this Gaspar Yanga script. And so we had this idea about the food this food that comes from there's a popular drink that they make with peanuts in Veracruz. And instead of peanuts, the chef substituted the Canatella. And it was an amazing, beautiful drink, beautiful vibe. There was alcohol too, but there was definitely that Canatella vibe. And it really served as a launch party. Altadena was certainly featured in there, because Jervy Turbulent. I don't know if you met Jervy, but he was around when, maybe same party. I don't know, but he was around when Ghetto Celebrity was coming out because he was the first person that gave me a blurb. His name's on the back of the book, and he has Alzheimer's. The fire, maybe this is a great transition to talking about the fire, or we can keep talking about the book, but the fires wiped out his home in Altadena just after he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it accelerated his Alzheimer's. So while we were at we made a party, kind of a tribute to him, and it was amazing. It was great. It was a great time, right, Love?
Yeah. It was. It was fun to meet everyone.
Yeah. So that's a way off from talking about the book, but it isn't not so much. So where do you want to go with this, Love?
Well, so then why? And then you wrote this. What, you were how old were you? 30 years old? 32 years old?
I started writing when I was 29, 30, and
I mean, that's kind of. I mean, it's kind of young to start write your memoir.
Yeah. There was this spate in like the 90s, late 90s. I don't know if you remember Nathan McCall. He had been a Washington Post reporter, and he wrote a book. Remember that book? You must remember then. There was a spate of like young Black authors who got to do the autobiographies, memoirs. And I was lucky in there. My friend
Kevin Powell was doing the same thing.
Kevin Powell, yeah, he's a good example.
That whole time.
I think of Selwyn Hines. He had been my editor at The Source, but he had one from a Caribbean perspective. And, we were lucky to do it. I don't know. Maybe we were all too young because, going back over it this time, I'm glad that I have all these devices to keep it interesting because I don't think realistically, no matter how much drama you've had, I don't think most people should write a memoir before they're 35,
Right.
Mine was an art project as far as I was concerned.
And then when you go back and you were I know you had to kind of like basically recopy it. Did you change stuff in it or did you keep it all?
No. And that's the thing. There are things I realize are wrong. I'll tell you something funny. Do you remember LaLa Buster's in South Pasadena? It was on Mission by the train station. I wrote a lot of my book upstairs at Buster's. When I wrote it in New York, but I did all the rewrites in San Francisco. Or I'm sorry, in South Pasadena. And I had all these highfalutin ideas about what I wanted it to be. And I definitely didn't want it to seem too polished for the person who was living the story. And so, and this is, to this day, this is one of those things I say, that was maybe not a great idea. I would go back in and what I would call awkwardify sentences. I'd make them awkward. So it didn't seem too polished because there were so many. I mean, I'm bragging. I don't know. A lot of good sentences in that book. And I just wanted to have some clunkers in there so I'd seem human, And because think most people like, most people.
You've always been a nerd. Just be a nerd. Just be happy being a nerd. Just be happy. Just be happy being a
Yeah,
nerd.
accept that,
Your
dude.
book is
Yeah.
very nerdy.
Yeah, no, I swear, like most people don't see when a book that's being a book that shows up on the market has been edited within an inch of its life normally, especially back in the day. They may have pulled back on editing this century just because resources are so limited, publishing houses, but they edit all the life out of it. And I like stood by it with my editor to make sure that stuff stayed in. Now looking back 30 years later, I'm like, I don't know.
So
But
LaLa, you said he's like he's like a nerd, and the book is very nerdy. Can you elaborate on that for us a little bit?
He is a nerd. Have you read his book? He is a nerd. There's a line that I want to get put on a T-shirt. That bougie death stare makes me rise.
That, you know what that is? I'm gonna tell you. That's so funny. That's so funny you would say that.
That needs to be a T-shirt.
That was in
Yeah.
DC. And
Yeah.
it's funny because
I bet.
I was gonna bring this. We were gonna go this way. LaLa used to work at the NAACP. So
Oh, you want to bring that up?
well, there was one of the things that I can't really convey over time is how dominant respectability politics was in the 90s. We were coming right out of the Cosby Show. And I watch the NBA, you see there's like 20 different hairstyles. There were like 3 hairstyles back in the day from that, And people were pretty plain. But why did I go there?
The
Oh,
bougie death stare.
but yeah, I was in DC. It was like the first assignment for ESPN. I was writing the Latrell Sprewell story. And I used to do my I'm not standing for the national anthem thing everywhere and made a big point of it everywhere. I don't do that because this country, blah, 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 blah. And this black woman looked at me in DC, where DC is the bougie Negro capital, man. Or maybe not anymore because they just got rid of that shit. And she gave me that death. She made me stand up. That woman made me stand up.
Did she grab your arm? What did she do?
She just gave me a look.
Yeah. Along with the auntie shoulder grab.
Yeah. Who raised you? How did you enjoy your time at the NAACP, LaLa?
Well, as you know, I didn't have locks before I started at the NAACP. I locked my hair because I felt like I had to lock my blackness in.
Expand upon that.
Having become employed by this mega civil rights organization, it was very DC. It was very DC of the late 90s, early 2000s. In some ways, I hate to say, it still is very upper class, black, bougie. Yeah, I don't want to speak too disparagingly about the organization because I do know what good work they do, but I felt like my blackness was in jeopardy.
That's so. Do you realize how ironic that sounds to most people?
Yeah.
But isn't it like blackness by degree, though?
So when I say my blackness was in jeopardy, I'm coming from, my father was a Black Panther and taught Kiswahili to the Panthers. My name is Swahili. My name is Laini Milele Hodari Coffee. And I was working with Chads and Michaels and Jeffersons. And, I'm from Oakland, and these are people that have a lot of their activism rooted in the Deep South and on the East Coast. So it's a different vibe. I was in my hotel rooms at national conventions smoking weed, and like everybody was like, downstairs singing "Lift Every Voice and Sing,"
Right.
and I'm just cut from a different cloth, and I felt like my cloth could have been ripped. Even though now mind you, I'm definitely a child of Oakland, but I'm also a graduate of Spelman College. So, you
Hmm.
get in where you fit in, and
Yeah.
I fit in a lot of places.
Do you think it would be a different experience for you today?
Absolutely. I'm older. I have more responsibilities. I think less politically and more financially. Um, but unfortunately, just like most people in this country, that is a very stressful place to be, when you think more financially and as opposed to what your heart really desires.
Hmm.
If I could transform education, I'd stay in education, but education is what's paying the bills right now, and I am looking for a way out. And I wasn't looking for a way out with the NAACP. I was more looking for a way to make the organization work for what I wanted to work for. Um, I don't know if you remember this, Donnell, but most of the work that I did with the NAACP, I got done by allying with the Nation of Islam.
I did not. No, I didn't know that.
I did a lot of on the ground stuff with the Nation of Islam because I couldn't get the national office to see my
Back up
side.
something.
Hmm. That's interesting. I know. Well,
Wait,
you had all the.
before we get too far, I just have a quick note. So the bougie death stare that made you rise. So at first I took it as it made you rise, like you're like, oh fuck that, I'm gonna stand
No,
tall
no.
and whatever. No, it made you rise because you had like you were
Yes.
shamed into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, that's the thing.
Emphasis on the bougie. Emphasis
Yeah.
on the bougie.
Well,
Mhm.
right. Yeah, I get that. I didn't know the rise
Yeah.
part. I had to.
Well, thanks for bringing it back there.
All right.
If I could just say one thing about it, that's part of like the thing when I talk about like America, not this America, and Trump's America, which is like essential America, if you ask me. The not valuing of black people and black women in DC in particular. That's such an authoritative voice, such a resource and a strength in American resources and character that, across the seas, we've been exporting this stuff forever. But these people just not valuing it. I think about it for some reason when I think about invading Iran, because, these brown people, they're all the same. You don't know, these motherfuckers are not playing. They're not backing down. But yeah, just to put a pin in that bougie death stare. That's a strong black woman stare that, the idea, in that moment is, oh shit. Yes, ma'am.
And that's pervasive in the black community. Like everybody knows when you get that look. like when I say to Donnell, if my Canatella is not in the mail, and I give him this look, my Canatella better be in the mail.
so you know where we met? Do you remember where we met? Your cousin.
I just know it had something to do with Elisa. Were you getting your hair done?
Yeah, I was getting my hair done, and I was talking about writing the book, just writing the book. I hadn't even moved to New York yet, And you jumped up, and we started talking, and I have not called you my friend since then. It's really funny. She was on Sunset then, but I used to go.
Yeah.
She was in Echo Park, yeah, and
Echo
then she
Park.
was. She eventually she was in the hood. She was down by Magic Johnson Theater and all that with Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I followed her the whole way, and
He's
but
about to be a grandma.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yep.
She's such a
Yep.
little thing. We such a big ramble. Where should we go with this, Lab? Do you have any questions about this book, LaLa? Which you just revisited it.
Questions? No. I love how your mind works.
Mhm.
I love the nerd in you. Your writing is extremely cerebral. You have to be a thinker. You have to kind of play with the punctuation a little bit. Did he mean to put a comma there? Or is that supposed to be a run-on sentence? But that's just how your mind works. And once you get once you get locked into that's how your mind works and
Mhm.
you're really inside your brain. Like we're almost like an audience to you talking to yourself in this
Mm.
book. And I like
Mm.
that. I really like that. To get a glimpse of a black man and his inner thoughts.
Wow, wow. You're such an astute reader. I forgot that about you. I forgot you just as you're telling these stories, all these memories coming back. Remember when we smoked a joint in the basement of the NAACP? I just want that clear back in the 90s. But the group home, the group home in Altadena, Lev, gave me this gig, like 6 weeks of creative writing sessions, but they drew and stuff too. With these, how many girls were there? 12, 14,
It
8?
was girls and boys. It was girls and boys. It was I developed a life skills curriculum for a 30-bed co-ed group home in Altadena, and I needed for them to get some kind of expressive creative outlet. And I said, Donnell, come come write with these kids that can barely put together sentences, and I was
Mhm.
pleasantly surprised.
Oh yeah, no, there were some bright kids. But the thing I remembered most, though, not so much about creativity. I read to them this Juno Diaz short story, "The Sun, the Moon, the Stars," and it was like a pin could drop. Just the response. Like people, books aren't done, and people love that shit. We're being discouraged from reading, but they love that written word. It was something else, man. Um,
I'm a big reader, and whenever young people are in my life, I shove books and readings of any kind down their throats.
mm. Now, my daughter, I saw my daughter in Santa Monica like last month. Oh, at the Super Bowl
How
party.
old is she? How old is
She's gonna be 21. Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at our kids, right? But I was talking to her about this book. I was about the paperback, and she said, no one my age is going to read it. They've all been ruined by AI." And I said, wow. And I know she's probably being a little bit over the top, but you're both parents. Is that your experience with kids and reading?
I don't- my- you know, my Dennis is still a little young. He goes in phases where he likes to read, and then yeah, otherwise it's just stuff on the phone or whatever.
Mm.
But
King is
he'll get in a little phase where he'll read a book. We've encouraged that for a long time, but yeah,
And
King
so
is
King?
reading a verse. If he can find it, if he can find it to be read to him, he'll do that. Maybe if he can stay awake for it. Books put him to sleep. He
Mm.
cannot it cannot hold his attention. And that drives me insane. Drives me insane.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm glad my kids still read, but I know Wyatt does not love reading. I mean, anyway, it doesn't matter. The other thing, Altadena oriented thing I wanted to talk to you about. We could do another Altadena round if you want to. Is the Wet Daddy Literary Festival. Do you do you remember that?
It
Do you,
vaguely sounds
vaguely,
familiar.
because you found the space,
Is
and
that
this.
where I met P. Frank at? I think that's where I met P. Frank.
Oh, wow, I forgot about P. Frank and you. P. Frank, that might have been at my place at the apartment or something, but maybe it was some party. Um, but no, the Wet Daddy was at the amphitheater up there. You showed me the amphitheater at the top of the hill where the
Oh, at
park
the
is.
park.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so I had I had a bunch of people. Touré came out from New York, and I mean, he was coming out here. He didn't come out from New York to do my literary festival. And Neil Pollock, and I forget who else. Some other people. Danielle Smith was there because her mom lives in South. And we were. The thing I remember most is that I had this band. This black dude Dustin had a rock band. It was a metal band, and they played Ignition. The R. Kelly song. They played a heavy metal version of Ignition, and I remember the sun was going down. And the whole big problem with me in that book is when I got my first bit my last bit of the advance money, I bought a bunch of weed and I was super stoned. And it's like the stoner trip that you pay for your whole life. But I remember that night out there when they were playing Ignition and the sun was going down behind them, and Altadena was just so beautiful. And I just thought, this is like the best. This is the best. it was just the start of the tour, but it was an amazing time. So thanks for giving me that space, which is no longer there because of the
Not
fires.
even there, not even there. And it was
No.
such a beautiful space.